Ryan Hurst. Ryan Hurst.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. What's up, everybody?
I'm really excited to talk to you today. It's
whatever.
It's really exciting to have
more.
The owner, one of the owners and one of the founders and the head coach for GMB Fitness.
Come on, dancing monkey. Come on,
and dancing
all around good-looking guy.
And
you know,
poster boy. And
oh my God, yes, keep coming. Just keep going.
I mean, we could keep going. For GMB Fitness, you are everywhere that GMB is.
Yep.
And I am super appreciative of you talking to me today about how to get comfortable shooting video. With so many trainers having to move online right now, we're learning a whole new skill set. And a lot of trainers are surprised and horrified by how hard it is to shoot video.
Right.
Especially when you have to talk to the camera. Like, we can probably manage some demoing of some movements, but once you started having us talk, that's where things can get really unfamiliar for us. So I've gotten a lot of questions about these things, and you have spent over 10 years making video tutorials and talking head demos and all kinds of things for GMB. And so I want to just start off with, can you tell us a little bit about like your history with how did you even like, you know, start with GMB? How did you guys have this idea for making an online program when you know, you have a background like most trainers, you were working in a gym and all of that. Like, how did you even get here?
No, this is great. And this is, I think it's also, we already started off with a great example of, I'm really comfortable in front of the camera right now. Obviously in the very beginning, I'm just joking. I don't really, you know, want people talking me up and things like that. And this is actually something that I can cover, but it was very difficult for me to actually demo things. It was very difficult for me to show off, if you will. This is something that Andy and Jarlo, and I'm going to get to the beginning and explain how the process went, but I just want to say to everyone out there, you all know me. You know, I'm very comfortable in front of the camera. What you see is what you get. Bless you, Shion. My son is sitting next to me. You know, what you see is what you get. I'm the same in person as I am on camera. And even though I'm very comfortable in front of the camera doing things now, it was very difficult. And I mean, very difficult for me to do that, get comfortable as well as show things. And I still hold back. It's a cultural thing. And what I mean is, I know I'm not Japanese, but because I've been in Japan for over 25 years, I've picked up certain traits that are culturally related, where you hold back, you don't show off and do things like that. But we'll get into a little bit of that, how I kind of overcame that, but how I still stay true to myself. To start off with things, basically when we first started out, I think the one thing that really helped me the most in everything was, this can get really deep, but I'm really glad we're talking about this because I've never shared this with anybody before, really. So, you know, growing up in gymnastics, having to focus on presentation in terms of gymnastic meets. So for example, it wasn't a team sport. It was me in front of judges trying to perform something as beautifully as possible and show them that I am worthy. And that sounds horrible to say it that way, but basically that's what it is. You really think about it on a psychological level. Doing that, being judged and not being awarded certain things because of certain ways you move and act and whatever. Because when all it comes down to, it is a bit of acting. I'm not saying that I'm an actor, but there are certain things that, it's a performance, exactly, and you get this, right? So with that background, and then further moving into another culture, and actually having to become a different person, learning a language that's so different than your native language, learning brand new cultures, and then trying to be a part of that culture once again, it's a performance. And what happens is that, like anything, when learning a language, when learning anything, the ways that you learn it is first, you just don't do it. You mimic. You have to learn that base. You mimic. You have to actually, find a person in order to mimic and try and be. And then eventually you find your own voice. But that doesn't happen right away. So once again, it's performance. Same with culture, trying to fit in while trying to enjoy it. And so I think the fact that I had all of these experiences really has helped me to be very comfortable in finally finding myself, if you will. And so I'll say that it took me a really long time, but after these 10 years in GMB, I think it should be pretty obvious that I'm not only comfortable, but it is me. And I think that the biggest and the most important piece of advice I can give to anyone, and we could literally sum up and just I could give you this one piece of advice and we could be done with this video. We won't, but is be you. That's it. Literally, that's it. The problem is, what does that mean? And how do you go about doing that? And that's really, I think, what we can talk about when we're doing that. But I just wanted to give a little bit of a background leading to that and let everyone know this wasn't just something where I just like, hey, what's up? I'm Ryan from GMB. Hi. It's not any of that. It's all these things leading up to that point, failing a lot. That was very important. Failing a lot and moving beyond what people think of me. Okay, so let's move to the very beginning if this is cool. And so a little over 10 years ago, it's about 12 years ago, before GMB came about, Andy and I we did an online program together for organization that I was involved with, the fitness organization that I was involved with. And it was great because I learned a lot. And that's just back when we still use cassettes for the videos. And some of you don't even know what that is, I'm assuming. And, I did all the editing. I did all the scripting. Andy was in charge of like marketing for the things that are going, and Jarlo would write the articles and things like that. So basically what it was is this. We had this idea and there was one other online, I don't even want to say online because they weren't really online at that time, but there was another group similar to what we were doing. And the content was crap. And Andy's extremely smart and he's always looking at what's next. So that was the thing. And so it was, we need to get online. And the way to do that is content. And so basically, me, I was teaching every day. I had my own gym. And as well, I would travel around the world with this other fitness organization, and I would teach 5-day seminars. So 3-day plus 2-day certification courses. And so basically every single month I would go to a different country and literally all day long I would teach all these people. And then I would come back and work in my gym. And then when I had a little bit of free time, Andy was living in Japan at the time, by the way, I would shoot some videos. And the videos sucked. They were horrid. And why were they horrid? For one, I had no idea what I was doing. The content I knew very well, but I didn't know how to talk to the camera. I was like a board in meaning like stiff. And right. I'm Ryan from GMB. The other issue that I had was the inflections, the nuance. And the reason why is because this is the other thing in terms of the language. My English was so bad. I'm a native English speaker, albeit I am from the Midwest. But the thing of that is, I was speaking Japanese 99% of the time, except when I was overseas teaching in English. And so there's certain ways in my English and words that I was using that just didn't match, because up until that point when I started doing things overseas, literally everything was just in Japanese that I did. And I would speak English maybe once a week. So my English just turned to crap. So I was in front of the video, I would say things, I would muck up my words, I would actually use different pronunciations. So I was using a combination of not just American English, but, you know, British, Australian, whatever, you know, aluminium instead, you know, little things like that. Instead of saying, like they say in the United States, laboratory, I still have to think about that because I'm surrounded and I hear these different words from different cultures. Now, in front of the camera, talking, and I'd go back and I would look at the video and it's like, oh my God. And Jarlo and Andy too were just like, ugh. But the thing of it is this. We put them out there, we put it out there, and it worked. And that actually, I think, I'm not saying that it was good that that was happening, but people could see that I was just a real dude. I wasn't trying to be someone else. I had to be someone else for the camera, if you will, because I didn't know what to do, because I didn't understand that I should have just relaxed and just talked to the camera and be myself. But because I had so much pressure on myself to perform, because I was scared, and also because I wasn't confident in my ability to speak, it came across and not very well. So I remember there's one day I was just thinking about this because you sent me these questions for the interview today. I remember kind of a changing point where Andy was in the room with me, and Andy was working on a computer, and I was sitting there with the camera set up, and I was trying to do my own thing. And all of you know Andy. He's always nice, never says anything bad, you know, haha, wink, wink. And I'm doing this thing, and I keep messing it up. And he looks over, and he's like, just fucking get it done. And I was just like, okay. My son's got earphones on, so he can't hear what I just said. But, and I was just like, oh, all right. And that's when I kind of like was just like, I just got to get it done. Literally, that was my focus. And so let's just get it done. I'm not saying that things were great after that. I'm not saying that I didn't make mistakes or anything. But the thing of it was you just got to get it done. And it's like everything that we talk about in GMB, what's your why? And if you have that why, it really doesn't matter how you go about doing it. Well, it matters. I mean, ethically, you know, looking at morals and things like that. But what I'm talking about is you just got to get it done. And so that was one of the first times that it really changed for me. And I realized that the pressure that I was putting on myself was because I was trying to be something that I wasn't. And I needed to reframe the way I looked at it. And just get it done then for me was that responsibility that I had for the people who were watching it. And so it wasn't then on me feeling like, oh my God, what if I fail or something? No, it was, this is the information that I can put out there to help people, even if it's just one person. So I just need to get it done, and I just need to get it out there. And so that was really kind of the biggest change for me. Now, the other thing that helped a lot is that I think we're like a year, maybe a little beyond. I was like, you know, I got to step up my game. And what I just said, but what we did is we had Andy and Jarlo would watch the videos, and they would take notes and say, you need to stop saying this. And they would say, you say this too much. So what they were doing was they're identifying certain patterns within the video, not the content, but patterns of these inflections, or for example, particular words that I would use all the time. Not trying to change the way I speak so much as to bring awareness to how I was speaking. And so by doing that, it actually helped a lot. Helped me to get rid of certain things like saying and you know, and like things that you don't typically notice.
Mm-hmm.
In the United States, and I say this quite a bit now, but
yeah,
you know, like or something like that. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad, but it's something to take note on. If you say the same word, even if it's not a bad word, and even if it's used correctly, it'll come across as monotonous, to be honest. If you're watching a video and the guy keeps saying like, you're just be like, okay, get on with it. So this is just something to take note of when you're doing your videos. It's just like if you're doing the bear. Once you get to a point, you're like, yeah, I totally know how to do the bear. But you find yourself doing the same variations of the bear over and over, the same way that you do the bear over and over and over, and you don't even notice it. And so that's why it's always good to take video, to take a step back, to honestly take a look at truly what's going on when you're doing that. So once again, it's not about the content. It's about how you're presenting that and really getting a better understanding of yourself and how you present yourself. Now, the cool thing about this is that by doing that, you realize that there is no difference between on video and off video. And that's super cool if you can really take a look at it that way. By looking at how you present yourself on video and by trying to be a little bit better on video, take that over into your life. It's going to help your communication. And that should entail, obviously, it's going to help with your teaching, but hopefully it will help with everything else that's going on in your life. So in that regard, what we're really trying to do here is simply be a reflection on the camera or in live, depending on what kind of person you want to be. And I think that this is something where over the years, I've really noticed, I want to be more of this kind of person. It's not that I want to be like Mike, you know, I don't want to be like a particular person. I simply want to try and be a better version of myself. So therefore, what do I need to do in order to do that? It's not making huge changes. It's just bringing a little bit of awareness to what you're doing and how you're presenting yourself. You can go in and you can study NLP. You can go in and you can study, psychology even deeper on level. You can look at how to read people, everything like that. Everything from how you stand, where you look, your gaze. If you're looking at a person in the eyes, if you look down, then obviously you're not the alpha. Like little things like that, we can go deep. But over the years, I have actually used some of that within the video, but I haven't tried to manipulate people through my videos. And I think that's the important thing. And again, I want to bring it back to the fact that I was simply trying to be more of myself on video. Okay. So in the beginning, we're doing that. The first time, Andy, just get it fucking done. Just fucking do it. Okay. Second thing was Andy Jarlow critiquing, giving me positive criticism in order to be better. Okay. The third thing that's really related to the second thing is your willingness to be open to constructive criticism.
That's huge.
The ego, that is huge, and it's very difficult. It also comes down to the person that's giving that, constructive criticism, because sometimes it's not constructive criticism. I'll give an example. A great example would be YouTube comments. Okay? YouTube comments suck.
I think all social media comments can really suck.
Oh, they're horrible. People are horrible beings. Okay?
Especially when they're in front of a computer and they don't actually have to talk to you.
Exactly. It's like driving. People change, you know? they're in their bubble. So, it was really difficult for me those first couple of years reading the comments. I mean, it hurt. Why? Because I was sensitive, because I wasn't used to that, because, I mean, no one wants to hear, oh, check it out, it's Nicolas Cage fitness, whatever, it's like, and we laugh now. I think it's hilarious now.
Right, but then it was not funny.
Back then I was just like, oh my God. And so what happened was I was getting this feedback from Andy and Jarlo, which is great. But then I was also getting this advice, if you will, from people on YouTube, which it wasn't advice, it was just their stupid comments. And people saying, oh yeah, well, he's not very muscly. And, oh, I thought he'd be bigger. And, all this stuff that can really bring about a negative effect if you let it. And so that's the thing. And the unfortunate thing is I let it get to me. I think a lot of us do. And
it's hard not to.
So it's hard not to. We're putting ourselves out there and we have good intentions. But the thing is, other people don't. Okay. And here's the thing. And this took me a while to get to, but I'll give you an example of how you can make that change. And so jump forward, I don't even know how many years. Let's say, so we're 10 years now. So let's say like 6 years ago. It sounds about right. We were in Monterey, California. And I don't think you were with us.
I wasn't
at that point. Yeah. And we were in Monterey, California. And we brought in, because we brought in all the trainers. That was when we didn't have very many trainers at all. We brought in all the trainers. My entire family was with me, Jarlo's entire family. And, Andy I don't think his wife was with us. But then we had, for example, Amber, significant other, and everybody who was in the company. We brought everybody in the company and all the trainers together, and we rented houses for everybody, and we're staying in there, teaching this big seminar. So we have this big seminar, and it was great. I mean, it was just like fabulous. And Andy and Jarlo and I were sitting at a kitchen table, and it was like 1 a.m. And everyone had gone to bed. It was just the three of us standing up. And I'll never forget this. And Jarlo has known me the longest. And so Jarlo and I have been together for a really long time, and we've taught together for like 15, I think it's been like 15 years. So he's seen me teach, He said, I remember, again, it was like 1 a.m. He's like, dude, that's the best I've ever seen you teach. And he says, you're totally different. He said, I've seen you teach so many times. And he said, there's just something different. He said, you've changed. And he says, what's going on? And Andy was like, yeah, man. He's like, I noticed that too. He's like, you just killed it. And I was like, well, thanks. And they're like, what's different? And I was like, I don't give a fuck anymore. And they got it. They knew exactly what I meant. Okay. And what I mean is not that I don't care. It's that I literally don't care what people think of me anymore, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's not that I don't care. It's that I am there to share whatever knowledge I happen to have. I am myself. I am not trying to be someone else. I'm not pretending. I'm simply literally here for you. And I want you, to receive whatever it is I happen to have. And I don't really care what people are going to say about me and judge me and think or whatever. It really doesn't matter. And that was the tipping point and changing point for everything in GMB in terms of coaching. It was that was me going, you know what? All these people on YouTube and there's, are At the time, it was mainly YouTube. And people say this stupid stuff. I don't care. I don't know that person. That person doesn't know me. They don't know why I do this. Why should I give a fuck about that person? I shouldn't. I'm going to focus on the people that want to be a part of this. That's where I'm going to expend my energy. And so this is something, Rose, I say this all the time. I let go. And it was tough. And I focus on what I can control, and the things that I can't control, I cut out. And that's really what I try and do in my life right now. And that is how I, from that point on, able to just basically like, hey, I'm Ryan from GMP, welcome. Great to have you here. The reason why is because it is great to have people that actually want to be here listening to me babble on camera, because I understand if I can help that one person, the person that's watching this video, then it's worth it. And so, big long spiel about how I got here and change, but really, again, it comes down to get it done, figure out how you can be a little bit better, get over the ego, and get rid of the idea that the other people matter, okay, in terms of the negative whatever, because it doesn't matter. And it's like that in your life as well. I mean, this is, again, getting a little deep into kind of things, but once I was able, these were things I was going on in my personal life that I needed to let go of. And I finally got to that point where I was able to do that, and it reflected in my teaching and also on camera. That's all I'm trying to say. And so it's like a dog. A dog really can feel that energy, and it's kind of like, they know if this is a good guy or a bad guy, if you will, and I'm not saying I'm a good guy. I'm just trying to say, like, the way you are is reflected on camera. It's reflected in life, in everything. And so the better that you can be in understanding yourself and letting go of the stupid shit that we worry about and what we think people think of us, okay? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's a waste of time. Focus on simply taking your gift, whatever it is you have to offer, and simply be yourself and share that with the people. And then the next thing is this, and that is understanding that not everyone is going to like what you do, and that's a good thing. It's not that it's okay, it's a good thing, because the faster you can understand if this is the person that is open to what you're sharing or not, the faster you can then take your energy and spin on those people that want to be there with you, right? Because you don't want to spend your time on the other people. And it's tough. But this is why also I say no to a lot of stuff. The people who send me private messages on Instagram, hey man, can you do this? And I'm like, nope. Or I don't even reply because it's a waste of my time to reply. Usually, well, no. And they're like, well, don't you want to? No, man, I'm doing my own thing here. Cool. Yeah. And funny thing is typically those people are like, wow, that's kind of cool. So what I'm getting at again is be you. And this is what we talked about being a trainer here in GMB as well. Don't want to have little mini Ryans. Okay. Rose teaches GMB the Rose way. Okay. Everyone else, that's what I really want. And it's tough, I know, about the video, and I'm not getting into the finer details of certain things, editing and things like that really don't matter, to be honest. It's simply, how are you presenting this to your particular target and being yourself? Like anything, getting in front of the camera, doing more of it, it's going to make you very comfortable with it. Maybe I can share a couple points that I use to make it easier. Is that cool?
Yeah. I was going to kind of go through. I was going to go through because, I think that what you're saying is really great. And that if trainers can try to get out of their own way, right? We're in our own way, self-judging and oh my God, this is horrible and whatever. But your reminder to be like, to think about your audience, like, who is this for? Who is this helping? I feel like that can help you get out of your own head a little bit and be like, oh,
Yeah.
this is for my clients. This is to help my clients move better or feel better, or like be able to access good training right now when they can't go to the gym.
Yep.
So like
Yep.
trying to just remove our own like self-critic is, and remember the intent behind what we're doing is a really good reminder.
Absolutely.
But I do have some questions about like some specifics, and you can definitely jump in with, you know, your tips along the way. But you know, there's a difference between like a tutorial demonstration video and a talking head video. And
Absolutely.
many people might not have somebody in their household or close by that they can use as a demo right now. And so I've gotten questions like, is it better to talk and then demo, or like talk while you're demoing, or like, what's your feeling about like demo videos, and like what's the easiest way for people to do that and get information?
Absolutely. Great question. Here's something that can lead into this as well. Whenever you're doing any video, you're only talking to one person. Okay. That's my secret. There are no secrets, but that's it. When that camera is rolling, literally I'm talking to one person. Okay. I might say, hey y'all, welcome, whatever. But the thing is literally I'm thinking of that one person that I'm talking to. That makes it so much easier. And that's how you can create empathy, because that feeling of that, and that is because I always have a person in mind that I'm talking to. So let's say that you're doing a tutorial, okay? Who is this tutorial for? Create that image of that person, that single person that you're teaching this demo to, and teach them. That's it. And that shows. And so that's how you can be very, very personable on video, is that single person, and connect with that person. It's when you get that, it's pretty magical. Like if you happen to watch a video, and there's sometimes you watch a video, you're like, holy shit, this person is talking to me. You know, sometimes you feel that. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm getting at. And that's how that person is able to do that, because what they're doing is they're not teaching the tutorial. They're teaching you. And that's the difference. So whether it be a talking head, whether it be a demo, it really doesn't matter. It's just so important to make that connection first. Now, if you happen to go through the tutorials and the demos and stuff that I've done, 99% of the stuff that I've done has been without someone there. Right. Sometimes Andy might be able to make it to Osaka or something like that and use a demo. Or there was a time where one of my good friends, Matt, was in some of the videos. He happened to come to the gym, okay? He lives though an hour and a half away, so it's not like I can see him. My wife is never going to be in the videos, okay? She's like, screw that, which is great. My kids are in there sometimes, but you notice I don't actually do like tutorials and things with them. So what I'm getting at is this, is you first off need to find what is going to be a good way for you to present the material. If you are wanting to present yourself as an authority, it's also very good to show that you can do the thing that you're demonstrating. And so this is how it doesn't come across as like just showing off. It's you're here to help them to be able to do this. And so that's why, for example, the way that I like to do it is, you know, hey, everybody, Ryan from GMB. Today, we're going to take a look at the L-sit, and I might actually be sitting there in an L-sit while I'm saying that. Yes, am I showing off? Yes, but then right away, you're like, holy crap, this guy's doing what I want to do, and he's just sitting there talking, making it look super easy, but he looks like this regular dude who's balding with a beard, and wow, I could probably do this too, you know? Right away, you're creating rapport. You're also letting that person know that you're the authority on the video that you're doing. Now, again, there's different ways you can do this. You can do, if you're not comfortable doing like being in front of the camera, let's say like you don't have a proper microphone, there's different ways you can do it where you can actually just be doing the L-sit And, instead of just being serious face, looking into the camera, you could be doing the L sit and kind of like smile and stuff. You notice I kind of joke around a lot because that's my personality. And that's also where, if you were to do an overlay, a voice overlay, even though that the voice is overlaid on the video, the simple fact that I'm kind of playing around in that L sit also breeds that authority, showing that I own that skill, but also my personality comes through too. So it's not, we're working out kind of thing. And so that's another way to do it. So which is better? Well, the one that's going to be better for you. Again, now we can look at the technical side of things. Over the years, I've done so many different things. I've got boom mics. I've got lapel mics. I've even got, mics, camera mounted microphones.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different ways you can do it. I do encourage all of you to try, not buy a lot of stuff. I don't think you need a lot of stuff to do these, but what I was going to say is try both ways of talking while demoing, and then also sometimes doing a voiceover, and see actually what's easier for you. Over the years, I found that I really don't want to do voiceovers. The only time that I would want to do a voiceover is perhaps if I was doing a voiceover for someone else's video. An example would be sometimes if you shoot a video and we need to, and like we use it within a video, right, I'll do a voiceover. With that being said, I will typically not just sit in front of my computer and add in a voiceover. I'll actually sit in front of a camera and have that camera rolling, and I will take footage of me going through that. And so if you're looking at a sales video for GMB, if you're looking at any tutorial recent within the past couple of years, they're all done. And we have that footage of me actually saying whatever it is I'm saying on the screen. Now, there are times, though, where there's a particular passage script, and we can talk about scripting in a little bit, but let's say that it's a sales video and there's a particular sentence that I need to make sure that I say it in that way, because this is going deeper into like the psychology of sales, of marketing, and making sure that you're getting the proper information needed for that particular person to get the result that you want. You need to have a particular sentence or something like that. And it could be a sentence that's quite long, or it could be something that I bumble up quite a bit. What I'll actually do is I'll have a camera, but what we'll do is I'll kind of read it. But anytime you read something compared to not reading something on camera, inflection, intonation is going to be, and the tempo is going to be different. Right. So that's something that you do need to take into consideration. And that is, you want things to flow. And so if I do have to read something, what I'll do is I will be in front of the camera, but I will, rather than just read it, I'll make sure that I'm trying to look at the camera and going back and forth so that it seems more natural, if that makes sense. So these are little things over the years that I've tried to do. Coming back to tutorial versus the talking heads. Again, to me, it can be different depending on the results you want. I mentioned the sales video compared to a tutorial. Sales video is going to have more direction in terms of a loose script, in our terms in GMB, a loose script, but it will be scripted. Compared to now, if you see a tutorial for me now is, okay, these are the key points that I want to hit, and I might have it on a whiteboard, and I might have my whiteboard behind the camera, and I have a huge whiteboard.
Oh yeah,
that's
actually, huge.
Yeah, yeah. It's double-sided, by the way. I can flip it over. It's great. But anyway, and so what I'll do is like really big. I'll just have my key points. But again, it's not a sentence or anything. It might just be like one word. Like, right. If I'm doing like LSIT tutorial, I'll just make sure that I don't forget any of like the progressions that I want to hit. So it'll be like one word. Okay. But I always try to make it as if I'm just teaching, and it's not scripted. That's kind of important. There was a time in G&B a couple of years ago where things are pretty scripted, and you can tell. And I didn't like that. I really didn't. It wasn't me. It wasn't. I wasn't the one who wrote the script. And while I think the information is great, again, it just didn't feel me. And so if you look kind of from last year, things really started getting back to where it's just me going, hey, what's up, this is Ryan. I want to take time to share a little thing with you. All right, let's do it. That's really what I like. Personally, I think for all the G&B trainers, if you're just looking to provide information and content, I really think that's better than scripting. Okay. If you're doing and the whole script thing can actually be pretty easy to talk about. I think that having key points are in there that are very good, but if you write out every single thing you want to say and then use a teleprompter in order to follow and do that, it's going to come across sometimes just like President Trump trying to read. And whatever you want to say about politics, I don't want to get into that, but I will say that he is not a good public speaker at all, because he's simply reading a script that someone else wrote for him. And when he tries to riff off of it, it doesn't work out well. Right. And so that's a great example of him not being himself. Okay, I don't want to get into that as well. Let's bring it back to something positive. But imagine me just all the time just reading a script. Okay, no, be you. First of all, get to where you really understand that information. Okay, if there's certain things in there that are not constructed, and what I mean by this is that if you're just like, you know what, I think I want to talk about the LSAT, and you don't even think about it, and you just hit record, and you just ramble for like 15 minutes. No. Get clear on what you want to say and touch on it and then move away. And you can always follow up with other stuff. But the thing is, there are certain times where, like in this video is a great example, and you guys know I talk a lot. I talk a lot when it comes to the trainers because I want to get all this information out to all of you. But when we're looking at tutorials, you'll notice that there's a lot of information jam-packed in there, but it's not that I'm touching literally on every single point. I just want to make sure I hit those points adequately and then move on to the next thing. Just like when we teach. Rose, you know this, you've been with me in so many seminars. I'm like, I touch on this little thing and then we float on to the next thing. That's really, I think, what it should be when you're doing that, and it should come from the heart, and it should be things that you feel comfortable talking about. I think that's another thing too. If you are comfortable talking about something, then you're always going to do a good job. Have a plan, be yourself, and just get it fucking done. And that's really it. Talking head versus using a mic, whatever's comfortable for you, I think is okay. But again, personally, I would much rather watch a video where that person is standing in front of me or sitting or moving, and I can see their body in relation to what they're saying. Because to me, the body speaks more than what you're hearing, if you will. It's all connected. We are in the fitness world. We're in the movement world. And that is going to come through in your movement. You're going to make better connections when you're in front of the camera, talking to the camera and moving. That's my personal opinion. Rather than just doing a video, making sure that it's perfect, and then later going and doing a voiceover. And so that's why I like to keep it real. Okay. It might take you a couple extra takes to do, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a better video, and people are going to be able to relate to it more by doing that.
Right on.
Scripts, by the way, I just mentioned sales. If you happen to do a sales thing or something like that, I think it's perfectly fine. And the reason that also we have a script for that too is because it's not just me in the video all the time. There are other clips that we add to that particular video that jump to a particular whatever it is. So it's not just me sitting in front of the camera the entire time. When you see that, the script is there for a specific purpose, to get a person to buy something. And so you want to make sure that it's thought out, and you know, in terms of scripting for that, it all comes down to the hero's journey. So always think back to the hero journey. If you don't know about that, then go and check that out. That's how you want to do a sales video. You still there?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Anyway, you know, just, you got the hero. Hey, what's up? Ryan GMB, blah, blah, blah. This. Oh, there's a problem. Okay. And then what you do is you go through the process of that person understands there's a problem. That person can relate to that. And they're like, oh, wow, that's me. Then you give the answer to how you can help solve their problem. And then they're going to feel great and buy the product. Okay. So a little more in depth than just what I said, but basically that's what it is. Okay. Tutorials are similar because what you're doing is showing that you're going to be helping them, and then you move through that process of helping them. Okay.
Yeah. And quick question. So some trainers who I talk to, you know, sales videos are like down the road, but some people are just trying to shoot tutorials right now for clients who they normally see in person, but they're, you know, sending them stuff at home right now.
Yeah.
How long should these videos be? Like if they're sending a program, like, you know, that's a question I've gotten, like how long should a tutorial video be? Is there like a good length of time?
Yeah, this is really good. I'm going to say this, it should only be long enough in order to solve the problem. Now, that's not a great answer because I'm not giving you exactly how long it should be. But here's something to take into consideration. If I'm looking at a single theme, again, LSIT, just because we mentioned the LSIT, I don't want to have more than 5 minutes. And that's pretty long. I can get a lot of information packed in there. But the thing of it is if it's just for your clients, then you need to try and think about it this way. How quickly can you get that person to do the thing that you want them to do? That's really what it comes down to. If it's a matter of, if you're doing a tutorial on the bear, okay? Let's take a step back. Let's think about it this way, because this is why this is a little bit different, because the whole COVID-19 thing is a little weird. Let's think about it this way. If you are teaching that person in person, how much information would you give that person for that one particular thing? Probably not much. So just do the same thing. That's it. Mm-hmm. And so literally it could be like a 30-second clip. Would be like, hey, Sam, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Okay, so for today, I'd like for you to really focus on the bear. And I noticed yesterday, they're having a little bit of trouble with your shoulders. So the only thing I want you to really focus on today is making sure that you're just pushing down and away from the ground. It's going to help with the scapular elevation, and it's going to feel better on your shoulders. So let's just have you do that today. All right, let me know how it goes. Done. Yeah. And there's no tutorial in terms of like actually like showing the movement or anything. It's one single cue of something that they've already been doing that you just need to remind them to continue to do. The cool thing about that is they have a single focus. There's something that they know they can do, and again, achievable. Similar to what we were talking about before. Here's the problem. Here's how you can solve that problem. Then let's just do it. And so I think in terms of that, it can be very easy. It can also be just multiple clips of that. So like, hey, looking at your bear, here's the thing. Looking at your monkey, here's the thing. Well, in terms of your chin up, today I'd just like for you to focus on making sure you keep your elbows in when you're doing it, not flare them, and pull your shoulders down, okay? And 2 cues right there and you're done, literally. So the other thing to take into consideration is, does that person need a video that day? So don't just shoot a video just because you think it would be cool to shoot a video. It would be cool, okay? The other consideration you can have is that, now we're kind of going into maybe a different topic, but when shooting videos, think about how you can repurpose these videos. So even though you're shooting a video for Sam, it sometimes, unless it's really a quick video specifically for that person, it's better not to say their name.
Mm-hmm.
And because that, not just that person, but other people might have that same issue, you can use the same video and send it to them. So
it's like an exercise library you're kind of creating.
Yeah, exactly. So like you're creating this exercise library and making it very easy for yourself to be able to help more clients.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will be like, well, I want to do a personal video. Well, it is personal because you're helping them, but it's also making your life easier, and maybe having these short clips that you know that are going to come up from time to time or all the time, and having that set aside is super easy. You have your library in there and you're like, okay, Sam, here today on the monkey, you notice that you're having some trouble with the ankle. Not to say Sam, but hey, listen, notice that you're having some trouble with your ankles. Here's something I think would be good for you to focus on today. Okay? It's in that video. So that's one example. If you want to do a full tutorial, again, that's going to be different. If we're talking about a tutorial that you're going to put on YouTube, or are we talking about coaching? And that's the difference. And what I mean is like what I just said. Are you working with a person where you're helping them as if they were with you in person, literally going through your class? Or is this something that you want to use simply as content for YouTube? So that
you explain the difference, because I don't know that everybody understands exactly what creating content is versus like just coaching somebody.
Great. Okay. So the difference for me would be and I don't even want to say edited, because these days content has changed where you can post something on your Instagram account that actually becomes content. Okay. What I mean, the difference between a tutorial versus coaching would be, coaching for me would be using Sam as our example and sending in that quick video of what you would like for them to focus on that day. Okay. Or for example, if they're, or if, I don't know, like something for the week or something like that.
Like in their program.
Now, in their program, literally in their program. Of course, within there could be a link to a tutorial that you have created. And a tutorial is where you cover a particular movement and go in depth regarding that movement. To me, that's a tutorial. The coaching portion of it, again, would be where you're giving that person specific cue or cues related to that particular movement. So again, within like, depending on how things are going, if there are multiple things that day that you want them to do, it could be multiple tutorials that they need to watch first to do it. And then the next day could be, okay, I just, you did the L sit. Today I would like you to focus on simply rotating your elbow pits forward. Okay, so that's the coaching. And I noticed that you're having trouble with that. So here's a quick video of me showing how you can do that more easily.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the difference between coaching and that content. But the cool thing is you can actually look at, okay, what are my clients having trouble with? What are, multiple clients having trouble with? I've noticed that they're really having trouble being able to rotate their elbow pits facing forward. That's a common theme. So I've decided to do a tutorial on that. The one magic trick that's going to help you to be able to rotate your elbow pits facing forward. And you do a video on how simply turning your hands out turning your fingers to the side is going to allow you to open up your shoulder, which will in turn allow you to keep your elbow pits facing forward. So to me, that's the difference between coaching and content.
And content can be, yeah, no, that does. And content can be used in like a very public way, correct? Whereas like
that's exactly
coaching
right.
is a little bit more personalized. It's probably not going to be like a public share. And so the exercise library idea could be a collection of your content, like your tutorials that you draw from, that you pull into your programs, and then kind of personalize it with some other stuff.
Exactly. Here's another way maybe we can think about this. Content is you showing off that you're a great coach so that people can work with you, and then you send them additional videos of coaching. Okay. That's kind of really what it is. That's the purpose of content, to be perfectly honest. Originally, it's just being like, hey, check out this stuff, I can help you. And then they come into the program and you coach them, and you might actually, use that content in a different way. But the thing is just like in G&B, we put content, up on YouTube and everything all the time. When you come into the program, you see that there's different stuff in there. Okay. And it really goes into the particular details that you need at that time in your movement or practice, whatever you do. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
love that you've talked about content without using the scary M word that a lot of us trainers are really scared of, but that's kind of what you're talking about.
That is exactly what it is. And this is just the thing. And this whole talk that we're doing right now actually is all about M, the marketing. Okay. And the thing is that what are you marketing? Yourself. That's it. What is the best way to market yourself? Be yourself. Show that you're the authority, okay? Because you are the authority of yourself, okay? No one else is. So that's why I'm really adamant about really trying to be yourself. The more yourself you can be, the more people that the more people like you will find, okay? Those are the people, to be perfectly honest. If you really know yourself, if you really like, okay, this is me, I'm happy in my skin, these are the kind of people I want to work with. If you're at that point, then just keep being more of that. And the thing, those are the people you're going to attract, and those are the people you want to be working with, okay? Right. And, because you're not going to get all the haters and all these people, because they're going to really be like, that Ryan guy, that's the kind of dude I think I can have a tequila with, And I'm like, sweet, that's the kind of people I want to hang out with, So, what you project is what will reflect. And that's the big thing. So, again, that is marketing. That's all it is. That's all it is. So, your content, put out what you want to do. That's cool. It'll happen. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This has been so informative.
It's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff, but it covers like a wide range of questions that I've been getting asked. And also it's just been really fun for me to hear a little bit more backstory around you.
I've never shared that. Yeah. So a lot of that stuff I haven't shared. Yeah. And I'm still working. I got to say, I'm still working on me. And what I mean by that is, for example, like in terms of me, there's certain things that I find myself as well. Even just now I'm looking off camera. The thing is with the computer, like when we're on Zoom and stuff, it's always difficult to know where to look.
I know.
But the thing is, if we're in person, it would be a little bit different, me, I'm just really engaged in the conversation. But that's what I'm just trying to do on camera, is I'm just trying to be more engaged, really thinking not just about me. It's not about me at all. At all. Okay. Right now, I'm really like, anytime I'm going to shoot a video, it's like, how is this going to help whomever's watching? My Instagram account, a great example right now is that. I've been posting pretty much every single day on Instagram for at least the past couple weeks. And I also have my blog. Now, my personal blog is not, I'm not coaching. I'm not doing anything. It's simply just, it's allowed me just to put me out there. And this is something that's difficult because we've got G&B and we've got Ryan, but it's the same. But I'm able to just be not more of myself, but simply not have to worry about anything else outside of simply what I want to share when I'm doing Instagram. And this is crazy. These past 2 weeks, since I started doing that every single day, I have had over I just need to check the stats again. I think it was like 1,200 new followers.
Dang.
Yeah, right? Okay. Now, yes, I do have the backing of G&B and they share stuff and things like that. But all I'm getting at is that I am not purposely looking for followers or anything. I don't care about that at all. All right. But I do know that the trainers listening, you do need to grow your audience. You do need to think. So what do you do is that is where the content is important. How can you help people? And we can maybe finish with this, and this maybe give all of you an idea of what you could possibly do on your Instagram account to make it easier for you to think of content. All I'm doing right now is I wasn't using my blog. And I was like, this is kind of a waste. And I really didn't know what to put on my blog because I'm just like, well, what do people want to, why should people listen to me? I still have those doubts, okay? And people are like, dude, you're Ryan. And I'm just like, I'm just some dude from the Midwest to, whatever. I still think that way. And I also try and always think that way, trying to be humble, okay? But I do understand that I am at a certain point where, what's a good way to say this? And it's the trainers. You guys know it's me, okay? I'm not a guru, okay? But I do know that people look up to me, okay? And so once you can also be comfortable with that and not let it get to your head, then you're able to understand, okay, cool. When I put something out, how is this a better reflection of myself? And what I mean is also be careful what you post, because what you post on the internet is forever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's also very important. All right. But coming back to something that can maybe help all of you in order to generate ideas and make it easier for you to put out content is what I've been doing the past 2 weeks. So didn't know what to do with my blog, and I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to post my workout to my blog every single day. And then what I'm going to do is take one little tiny thing that I had in my session that day, shoot a very quick video, put that on Instagram, and then also, so what I'll do is I'll like think about what I'm going to do because my program's already laid out for me. And then I do my session. And then an example, yesterday I did these like rolling shrimp squats is what I was doing. And I was like, oh, there we go. That would be a great idea to, just shoot a quick video. And literally I just set up my camera real quick, shot a video of it, continued with my workout. I wrote up my blog quickly, and I just put the thing in there and then posted to Instagram, and immediately afterwards copied that link and put it into my blog and published. And so I was done. And so now I have it set up where it takes like no time at all, and just people are eating it up. And, it's super simple. Every week I could literally on leg day, I've got, because there's like 10 different things in there that I could do. That's 10 pieces of content I could continue putting out there. And I do a little tiny blurb of why I think this might be good for some people, but I don't coach on there. I don't preach and I don't coach. I share what I'm doing and why I kind of use it. And then the other thing too is I've been posting like a song of the day because I love music. And so I don't know if people look at it, but the thing is it's kind of like, not just to go on there and just to be like, oh, this is his workout, but you also can get kind of a, the inner workings of where my brain is that day by seeing what kind of music I listen to as well. And that's what makes it a little more personable. So that's maybe an idea that some of you can play around with and think about. How can you be putting content out there that's a reflection of yourself that is actually helping people? Because the stuff I'm putting out there, I'm not putting it out there just to show off. I'm like, hey, try this out, And the cool thing is if they have trouble with it, it's super easy. I can just say, oh yeah, we have an article on G&B that you can check out, and do that. Likewise, all you trainers can do that as well. You can post something. People are like, oh man, that looks really cool. Where I can learn more about that. And you're like, oh cool, check out my blog or check out my homepage or something. Or G&B also has some information on that. Here's the link. So how are you helping people by posting your content? By being yourself is really what it comes down to. Okay?
Cool.
Bless you.
Awesome. This has been super helpful. I hope people ask questions because I'm sure they will have them and we can get some answers. But this has been really awesome. It's been awesome to hear from you. I've been watching you work closely for years. So it's, and I'm always amazed, we did a whole shoot for programs in Atlanta a few years ago where I basically watched you work for 5 days on how how you speak in front of the camera and how you had notes and you would, when you needed to, you ran and referred to them, but like on a whole, like you just went and it was really fast. And we often,
how many takes did I usually do?
One
because it was good enough. Yeah.
Right.
So, and it's not, and again, I want to just say that it wasn't because I'm perfect. It was that I was very comfortable with the information and what I said was good enough in terms of, I knew that's what I wanted to say. I could have probably said it better, but the thing is you can always think about it that way. Just get it done and make sure that you're continuing forward. So I really appreciate you saying that. I had very good people that I was working with to make me look good. So that helps too.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much.
Thank you.
It's just been really informative. It's awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.